Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Veronia, and in today's video we're going to be talking about ways that you can save even more money this year. So if you have basically been struggling to maybe save money, or this is the first time you want to start saving money, then this is going to be the video for you. So what I'm going to be doing are talking about some of my key tips and hacks that I've done to really save as much money as possible. Plus, if you are actually watching this in January, then you might know that I'm currently doing some weekly lives deep diving on some of these certain topics. So definitely make sure you're subscribed to my channel so you can check these videos out, as I do currently go live on Sundays at 7:30 p.m. GMT. So I hope to see you in the next one. But apart from that, if you're looking to save more money within this year, then here's where you can start. So the first tip I would give when it comes to actually saving more money is really making a list of things that you actually want to save for this year. Now, the reason why I say this is because many people may say that they want to be saving more money and they know it's something that they should be doing, but they have no idea what they should be even saving for in the first place. So if you are able to actually make a clear list in terms of things that you may want to save for, it's going to be a bit easier for you now to understand how you're actually going to save for those particular things. So as an example, you might be saving up for an emergency fund. Maybe you're saving up for a holiday. Maybe you're saving up for a car. Maybe you're even saving up to pay off debt. Whatever it is, ideally you want to have a clear vision in terms of what you're actually going to be saving for this year, and you also want to be able to put a number towards that as well. Because again, a key mistake that I see people doing is that they will say that they want to save for something. For example, you may want to save up for your emergency fund, but then you have no idea how much you actually want to save for. And so what that means is going to be even more difficult to now understand how much you should be saving either per month or per week, depending on when you get paid. So by having a clear list of things that you want to save for and having the numbers to back it up, because that's also important, it's then going to be a bit easier for you to now figure out how you're actually going to save for it. Now, if you want to better understand why saving money is maybe important and the steps that you should be taking when it comes to actually managing your money, then definitely download my free money management guide, because I basically include all of the steps that I did to essentially start saving money, but then also managing my money as well. So if you do want to check that out, I will link that up here for you and in the description below. Now, the second tip I want to talk about when it comes to saving more money is one of my ultimately favorite tips, and honestly it has been a massive game changer for me when it comes to saving money in general, and that is paying yourself first. Now, when I talk about paying yourself first, I feel like maybe people don't necessarily understand what it means to pay yourself first, because essentially what you will see a lot of people doing is, yes, they will pay for their essential bills, so whether it's their rent, their mortgage, any utility bills, contract deals, anything like that, but then they will also pay for their spending as well. So what they will do is they will basically, of course, go out to their lunches and they will eat out and they'll buy all of this non-discretionary things before actually putting money into things like their savings, their investments, or even overpaying on their debt. Now, why this can be a key mistake if you don't actually learn how to pay yourself first is because if you are just focused on, first of all, of course, you have to pay your bills. I'm not saying do not pay your bills. Remember to always pay your bills. But if you then now focus just on the spending element, you are probably less likely to actually end up saving the money. And I will use myself as a clear example because I never used to save money at all. But essentially what I would say to myself is, yeah, I'm going to save a certain amount by the end of the month, but it will come to the end of the month and there will literally be nothing there. And the reason being is because during the month, whilst I'm spending my money, I either wouldn't have really been taking accountability in terms of how much I'm actually spending. But the second thing is that I probably would have seen the money in my account, and automatically in my mind, I would be thinking that this money is basically here to be spent, and forget about saving until it got to the next month when I realized that I actually didn't save any money. And so paying yourself first is going to be such a game-changing thing for you, because what it essentially means is that before you even think about spending all of your money, you are already paying a proportion of your income into yourself. Again, that could be going into your savings, it could be investments, it could be paying off debt, but the concept of actually paying yourself first means that you are making yourself a priority. Now, if the concept of paying yourself first or actually thinking about saving is very new to you, then definitely check out my videos, because I have so many saving videos really talking about how I've been able to save quite a lot of money every single month. So if you haven't checked out any of those videos yet, I will link them up here for you and in the description below. But essentially, if you're able to start paying yourself first and automatically taking some money out before you even start spending it, you would be surprised at the progress you end up making when it comes to saving money just from that one change. Now, the third way you could potentially save more money this year is actually creating a purposeful budget that works for you. Now, before you just start clicking off this video, hear me out first. When I'm talking about a budget, I'm specifically talking about a budget that actually works for you. Because again, a key mistake that I see people making is that they will make budgets that they don't even like and doesn't motivate them. And so what happens is they're less likely to end up saving money because they don't even like the budgeting method that they're using. And so when I'm talking about budgeting, ideally what you're going to be doing is just telling your money what to do. Ideally what it should be doing is helping you identify realistically how much you can be setting aside towards your savings so that you can reach those savings goals. Because remember, if we go back to the first point, you would already know exactly what you want to save for this year. And so your budget is just really giving you a realistic answer to see whether the amount you're setting aside towards your savings is actually going to help you achieve that specific goal. Now again, many people actually miss this mark. So before you now start saying that budgeting is boring and I don't want to be budgeting and I don't want to be so restricted when it comes to my budgeting, actually the more you understand what that budget is for and the more you actually think about what budget is going to work best for you, the better it's going to become and the more likely it will be used to help you even save money and achieve those financial goals that you currently have. Now, if you don't currently have a budget at all, then don't worry, Auntie V is always here for you, as many of you will know. So I do have a budget template that also includes a net worth statement calculator and a sinking funds calculator, as well as the choice between a monthly budget template or a weekly budget template, depending on when you get paid. So definitely check those templates out. It will be linked in the description below. Plus, I do have many budgeting videos for you as well. So of course, those will be linked in the description below for you too. But essentially, when you create a budget that works for you, you will be able to understand how much, again, you should be putting aside, and that will allow you to pay yourself first, because you will understand, first of all, how much you need to be paying for your essential bills, and then you can decide how much you can actually put towards your savings, allowing you to pay yourself first. Now, the third way you could potentially save more money is by actually transferring your savings into a separate account. Now, if you're one of those people where you essentially tend to dip into your savings for no reason, then this point is probably going to be really useful for you, because I found that when I actually started saving money at first, I kept dipping into my savings because I kept overspending. And so because I knew that my savings was essentially there, it was very easy for me to just keep dipping into my savings and then just basically taking the money out and then realizing that I didn't necessarily have any savings to show for it at the end of the month because I kept dipping into it. So if you are in a similar position where you probably think that you're more likely to spend the money if you see it, what you can essentially do is separate everything out and move your savings into a completely different account. And again, that is something that I decided to do. And so I decided to move it into a completely separate account. And actually the account that I was using didn't even have an app. So I didn't have it on my phone. I would actually have to log into my browser and actually take the money, which would also take some time to actually withdraw as well. I would have to go through all of that effort in order for me to actually see my savings or actually take out my savings if I had to. And so essentially what that meant is that there were times where I even forgot that I had savings because I had already just transferred everything to a separate account and I didn't have any apps or anything to even look at it. And so that made it a bit easier, because if I didn't see the money there, then in my mind subconsciously I just forgot that I had any money whatsoever, and so I was only able to spend the money that I currently had. Right, separate savings account, no app, let the saving begin. So if you're like me and you find that many times you do actually end up dipping into your savings, so really you're not actually saving much money at all, then I would definitely consider saving your money in a completely separate savings account. So the sixth tip I want to talk about when it comes to saving more money is pretty much linked to the last point, but it's actually automating your savings. Now, what I mean is that if you're the type of person that sometimes forgets about actually transferring your savings or moving your savings, then what you could essentially be doing is just automating it. And so what I mean is that you could just create a standing order so that your money is automatically transferred every single week or every single month, again, depending on how you get paid. And so that could be really helpful because you don't even need to think about it. All you need to do is set up the standing order and say exactly how much you want your money to be transferred. For example, it could be 200, maybe it's 300, and you could basically set that aside every single month. So you could say that in my standing order, I want 300 to be taken out of my account on the 1st of every single month. And so what that means is automatically, as soon as you get paid, that money will get transferred directly into your savings. And essentially, you've basically treated this as another essential bill. So just like you essentially maybe pay your rent or your mortgage and you have direct debits for that, you are basically treating your savings as the same. And this again will allow you to also pay yourself first. Now, if you're different like me, where you actually actually like physically moving the money, then of course you can also do that. So that's something that I used to do as well. I would essentially move the money rather than doing a standing order, just because I liked doing that. But I would say that you really need to know yourself when it comes to things like that, because if you tell yourself you're going to move it and you don't actually end up doing it, then you've obviously defeated the purpose. So if you know yourself that when it comes to actually saving money and transferring it, that you're probably less likely to do it, then personally I would just be setting a standing order so that you can just set and forget it. Now, the next thing I would be doing if you want to actually save more money is learn how to spend intentionally. Now, here's the thing. When it comes to saving money, yes, there are many tips that you can do to allow you to save even more money. But for many people, the problem isn't the fact that they don't have the ability to save money or they don't know how to save money. For many people, the problem actually comes down to their spending. So if that's you, ideally what you want to be doing is understanding how you can actually treat the problem of how to overcome overspending, because essentially if you're able to do that, then that will essentially help you to save even more money. So if you find that usually you probably want to spend maybe $600 a month on certain things, but you constantly overspend and end up spending like $1,000 every single month, then clearly there is something wrong there, and you may now want to start thinking about ways that can actually help you overcome that overspending, so that if you're able to control your spending a lot more but still be able to live the life that you want, that money that you basically use to overspend can now be moved towards your savings. Now again, if things like overspending is something that you maybe struggle with and you want to be able to spend without feeling guilty but also save more money at the same time, then definitely check out my one-to-one coaching program, because what I will do is essentially help you overcome that overspending to allow you to save and invest more money, allowing you to work towards your financial goals. So if that's something that you might need help with, definitely check that out if you haven't already. I will link that up here for you and in the description below. But basically what you want to be doing is, if you want to be able to save more money, you also need to work on actually fixing the problem that you currently have. So in this case, if you find that you tend to overspend and that's a big problem for you, then by actually overcoming that and learning how to control your spending, again, while still being able to live the life that you want, by doing that, you would be surprised at the amount of money you will be able to save just by actually fixing that main problem. Remember, always think about treating the cause and not just the symptom. So if you did like this video, then please do give me a thumbs up if you haven't already, and let me know in the comments what other ways have helped you save money so far. I do post every Tuesday and Friday, so if you would like to know more, then of course you can subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys on Tuesday.